So today we're talking to Lara Hayward, who is a graduate of My12for12 in London. Lara is a lawyer, a sports lawyer. Awesome. She's actually just taken some time out. She's been traveling for 4 months on sabbatical to get herself awesome and happy. And she is now studying at Oxford in English literature, right? An MA, is that right? Cool. So Lara's just going to share some of her experience about being on the program. So I'm going to ask her some questions and she's going to give us some feedback. So Lara, when we met for the first time in like December 2014, you know, you obviously turned up to the My12for12 workshop for a reason. What was that?
Well, my reasons I think for doing My12for12, I felt quite a lot of success in my career. I had lots of really sort of good things going on, but there was something where I wasn't happy. You know, it wasn't giving me what I needed. And I think the main reason for turning to My12for12 was that I needed some guidance. And I think when I met Bella and I heard your story, it was something that I sort of connected with or identified with, and I really thought that the program could give me the kind of support and the networking opportunities that would help me to kind of progress through all my shit at the time. Yeah. Can I swear? Is that okay?
Yes. Swearing's totally permitted. You know, we're ditching the shit to amplify the epic. The internet doesn't like that word though. Anyway, okay. So do you think you could have gone through, you know, this is like almost 2 years since, you know, we first met. That sounds like a long time, right? Do you think you could have undertaken this process alone?
Do I think I could have undertaken this process alone? Almost definitely no. You know, I think the sort of there's part of me that believed I could, but I could see practically that wasn't happening. You know, I knew I needed to make some changes, but I wasn't progressing them on my own. And I think, you know, that's almost been the key part of the program for me is being on it with other people, like-minded women who are successful in their respective careers, all wanting to make changes, but for whatever reason were feeling blocked. So I think it was obvious to me that even though I knew what I needed to do, I wasn't doing it, and it was the program that's definitely pushing forward.
Awesome. So what was the main benefit, you know, coming out the other side? Like, what's changed in your life now?
What's changed in my life right now? So many things. I think finally, it's been a long process, but I definitely understand myself better. I've given myself permission to do the things that I want to do as opposed to the things that I felt like I should be doing. So I'm much more aware of who I am. It has been a rocky road, as you know. It's been very up and down. But I've got a lot more confidence to progress the paths that I want to take and also be okay with not knowing where they're going. I think before I needed certainty and I needed to know, well, this is going here and this is going here. And now I'm much more okay with going, okay, I'm enjoying this and let's see where it goes.
Awesome. And what were some of the tangible changes that you've made in your life? Like, let's say some of the decisions that you made and what's,
Yeah. So what are the tangible decisions that I've made? Some massive ones, I think, all at the same time. Even though I enjoyed my job and I worked with some great people, I quit it to go travelling, and I've been thinking about doing that for a long time, like a big trip. So I went all around Europe to Uganda, the Caribbean, and Mexico, which was fantastic. I've really scaled back on some of the things I was doing. So I was working at a rate of knots on all sorts of things, which I enjoyed, but it was too much. So now I'm, you know, doing sort of, more working on like one thing at a time, which is giving me a lot more focus and a lot more drive, and I don't feel so spread out. And again, I mean, what else has changed for me? I think I'm just getting better at getting my ducks in a row, like as you said. So it's sort of putting the basics first, like looking after my health, making sure I'm sleeping properly, eating the right things. And obviously once you do all of that, then everything else becomes much easier. So I know that sounds like a basic one, but for me that was a big deal. I'd kind of let that go, and then everything would sort of, be more difficult. Whereas now I've kind of nailed that, so everything is more easy.
Good. Okay. And what's your advice for people considering joining My12for12?
So my advice for people considering joining My12for12 is really embrace it and get to know Bella, get to know the program and be really open to it. I think the thing that I struggled with perhaps before joining was the investment, because it felt like a lot of money to do something that, I was unsure of how it was going to go. But I can see now, I spent a lot of money on all sorts of things before, whereas something like this is actually much more important, and I think if you're there and you're considering it already, you know that it's going to be useful to you, because I don't think you'd be investigating the program otherwise. So I think, just embrace it and get stuck in and make the most out of it, because, having that network, having Bella's support, having Alexis's support, and having the network of people who I was on the program with has been, genuinely invaluable. It's money well spent.
And give us an example of, one or more of the women that you met and how they supported you through some of the change processes that you went through.
Oh, everyone on the program, I think, really gave each other support in different ways, and that's the benefit of it. So people you wouldn't necessarily sort of meet or liaise with in other life, on this program there was something that was all bringing you together, and that was amazing. But I'm going to give the example of Jen, who you know very well. I mean, I actually would say I now have a best friend out of this program, because we had similar interests. She's very outdoorsy as well, and was kind of on a similar journey. She's been on sabbatical too, and the lovely thing is, even though we've been on sabbatical doing different things in different places, we've kind of supported each other through that too, and that's been amazing to kind of share like that part of the journey with somebody on the program. And I mean, she's a brilliant friend, and that was, it's an added bonus of going through a program like that. I think because you're sharing such deep things and such personal things, that will likely always be a product of it too.
Totally.
To connect with people in a really different way.
Totally. Well, that's really great. Thank you for that. Like, it's really good to connect. And any sort of last minute like tips or recommendations, or like one thing that you've learned in this experience that has really changed your life, like one insight that's come out of it, or action that you've taken that's helped you take a big leap forward.
I think the main insight for me, and I know this is probably different for a lot of people, is if you feel stuck, then find a community that understands that, and then work together to try and get through it. And I mean, that could be different things for different people, but for me, it was, having coaching from somebody who had a sort of similar life journey to me, different context, but similar journey, so they understood where I was at. And really just being brave enough to be open about what was going on and sharing that with people. And then for me, the insight was understanding that actually lots of people are in the same position, and that's nothing to be ashamed of or afraid of. And it's really exciting when you understand that and feel like you can move forward with it.
Wonderful. Well, that's really lovely feedback. It brings me such joy to hear it, because that was Alexis and I's intention, and we're super excited. We're both on board together to take the next steps of the journey in Australia. So we're really looking forward to supporting more women like Lara. Get fully expressed.